She collapsed right there in the kitchen. 1 second she was softly humming a lullaby. The same one she used to sing to our daughter when everything still felt safe. And the next, her body dropped like a puppet with its strings suddenly cut. No stumble. No warning. Just a hard, final thud. The sound of bone cracking against tile. That sound echoed through the room. And through something in me. It broke something inside. By the time we made it to the hospital, she was completely unresponsive. Machines were doing the work her body could no longer manage. Breathing for her, pumping blood in her place. Wires curled around her arms, a tube forced down her throat, and her chest rose and fell in a sterile mechanical rhythm. The only sound in the room was the mechanical hiss and click of life support. The doctor spoke with that kind of well-practiced calm. Words too soft to carry real meaning. But it was a nurse, a young woman, face pale with something close to fear, who stopped me outside. Her voice shook as she said, "Please bring your daughter now." I didn't ask why. I didn't wait. I just went. Emma was curled up in a plastic waiting chair. Her small fists clenched tightly in her lap. When I touched her hand, it felt like ice. The warmth of her childhood still sat back there in that kitchen, spilled out on the floor with the soup and the quiet. I wrapped my arms around her and walked her into the ICU. The scene inside took more than just my breath. It felt like the grief itself vacuumed the air from the room. There lay my wife, pale, unmoving, and ghost-like. The woman I had loved for 15 years. The mother of my child. And beside her, seated like he belonged, was a man I knew. His hand was wrapped around hers, and he whispered her name like it was sacred, like a prayer. His voice was soft, too familiar. When he looked up, I recognized him immediately, her colleague. The one she always insisted was just a friend. The same man who once smiled at me across a holiday punch bowl. Shook my hand like we were equals. He looked at Emma and asked, "You're her daughter?" "No," I said, my voice steady, my eyes locked onto his. "She's mine." Betrayal doesn't always come like a slow unraveling. Sometimes it crashes down, sudden and merciless, like a lightning bolt splitting the sky. In that moment, the ground beneath everything I thought we'd built gave way. 15 years of routines, shared mornings, silly jokes over burnt pancakes. I had always been the dreamer. The one with plans. She was the warmth, or so I thought. But now I could see how long the shadows had been creeping in. I remembered the subtle signs. How her gaze would flick away too fast. How dinner would stretch longer than necessary. The quiet that followed me into the room. The laughter that cut off too quickly. And the note, folded and tucked into Emma's lunchbox. A sweet message signed with a heart. She laughed it off as a joke from a friend. But I knew. I started to observe, not mourn. Silently. Strategically. I gained access to her cloud backups, installed tracking software, invisible and discreet. The truth came in slow and relentless. Deleted photos, hidden emails, secret messages. He called her Sunflower. She called him Always. That used to be our word. Our promise. Whispered under the stars while our newborn daughter slept between us. She hadn't been attending yoga. She was checking into room 409 at the Rosewood Hotel. I tracked every visit, date, time, transaction. At first, I thought she was planning to leave me. But then came the toxicology results. She didn't collapse from anxiety. Her blood showed something foreign. Introduced slowly, over time. She wasn't just unfaithful. She was being poisoned. Not by me. That truth wrecked me. I dug into him. It didn't take much to uncover the sickness. Restraining orders, old girlfriends found unconscious. Overdoses that were never properly explained. He was rot, hiding in plain sight. I don't know if she saw it, or just chose not to. Either way, it was too late. I had everything I needed. While the hospital ran tests, I got to work. Met with a lawyer. Moved every financial asset into a trust for Emma. Froze shared accounts. Updated my will. Filed for full custody. 3 days later, when she finally opened her eyes, I was there. Not with flowers or false comfort. But with divorce papers, a restraining order, and a plan to protect the only person who still mattered, our daughter. But I wasn't finished. I wanted one final move. Clean. Precise. Memorable. I invited them both to dinner. Her favorite spot. The cozy little candlelit place where we once toasted anniversaries. where I once placed a ring on her finger and gave her my forever. She arrived looking hollow, older in a way that had nothing to do with age. He came in smug, assuming this would be painless. Before we even ordered, I slid a folder across the table. "You should see this," I said. Inside were photos from the hotel, location logs, message screenshots, and flagged bank charges tied to the room. Attached to the back, a custody petition. Every page dated and signed. He stiffened. She turned pale. Her hand trembled as she reached for a glass of water. "You tried to replace me," I told her quietly, then turned to him. "And you tried to erase her." His jaw twitched. I leaned closer. "I know what you did. So does the hospital. Tomorrow the police will too." He bolted. Didn't even stay for dessert. She remained, weeping silently into a cloth napkin, mascara smearing like old ink. The divorce finalized quickly. I kept the house, the savings, full custody. She got debt and limited visitation. He disappeared, like men like him do when the lights expose them. Predators run from exposure. Now she writes letters, apologies, regrets. I don't read them. Emma never asks about her anymore. She's healing stronger than she realizes. As for me, I've learned love without honesty is just a performance. And I won't applaud lies. Betrayal taught me patience. How to watch. How to strike. Not with fury but with precision. I don't regret how I handled it. Only that I believed without proof. But I fixed that, with facts, silence, and strategy. And in the end I made one final move, so deliberate, so absolute. It left no room for questions. Checkmate.